It's going to be part three of live trading. It's 8:30 p.m. now, and come back with a verdict. And the problem is me. I looked at all my trades, went over, reviewed everything, and it seems like the market is slow. There's no doubt about it, but it's definitely tradable. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to take my entries and work the market the way I want to. Granted that I should be looking at higher time frames. I think that's something to improve on, as well as using wider stops, and I'll go over that in a second. But just being patient and waiting for things to play out, not just jumping back and forth on a 15 minute time frame, which is reckless in some sense. So, anyways, looking at it now, looking at your chart of the euro, I'm just going to go through all my trades one by one that I took tonight and just kind of get an idea of what I should have done differently. So just give me 1 second here. Let me pull that up real quick. Okay, so first one is the euro. And let me just move over to the actual entry. So as you can see here, we had a decent push up. We had a failure to close above on the 5 minute, which was the short entry right over here. And then based on that, I put a stop right above the high. So I tried risking 10 pips here, trying keeping the stop tight. Whereas I'm looking back now, I'm thinking, wow, that was kind of stupid. As you can see here, the real resistance was this point right here, this point right here, this point right here. So essentially, my stop should have been above that point as well. Unfortunately, it wasn't. So that's something that I need to improve on. What I should have done, taking entry here, maybe a stop up here, which is roughly 20 pips, which is well within my risk parameters, for any trade. So that's what I should have done on that one. Now, as you can see, that one did play out. We're coming into a little bit of support here. Roughly 22 pips to the upside, potential profit there. And that very well could continue because we talked about it, earlier, those larger time frames, those 4-hour candles, that we just could not break at the upside. So, it's one of the things I'm looking at, and this is what the 1, 2, 3, so the 4 touch that line every single time we got to touch. It's becoming weaker. So, anticipating that, eventually we should see a break to the downside. Anyways, moving on to the next trade, we had a trade on the euro or the pound at the same time. Now, this one was not, it wasn't great, but it's definitely not something that I can really beat myself up too much over. We were at a level of near-term support, and there was a halfway back. There was a setup there, and here I was very patient. I did actually wait for a break of the near-term support resistance, but it just didn't work out, which is fine. That's going to happen. It does happen, and I just gotta accept that. But so in terms of this one, there's not too much I would have done differently. I did know that we were under this resistance level, but again, just looking at the candle, I did think there was a good potential for further upside. Now, one thing to understand is that we do this correlation between the euro and the pound, but lately we've seen those two moving in complete opposite directions. So there's I'm treating each one individually, which is what I think I should be doing at this stage. And so that one was a loser, which is fine. So potentially we should have only taken that loser tonight. If we have another look at it, that one would have been, or rather it was, 19 pips. Well within risk parameters, no problem there. So moving on, there was another trade that was taken, which simply should not have been taken. Again, see, this is like concentration coming in. I came in, sat down, I'm watching this trend line. Some news or something happens, we get a pop, close above and above this swing point, right? And I enter long, and then once I enter, I look at it and I'm thinking, oh boy, resistance, resistance, nailed it, came right down. So, this should be on the wall of shame, no doubt about it. The entry should have been on a close above this point, and then in keeping with the rest of the market. So now we're kind of heading into Asian session. You can start kind of looking at those correlations a little bit again. in the 15 minute, I mean, it's really not there right now. To be honest, it's a 15-minute chart. I guess if we really wanted to, you could say in the 15-minute we did have those, three up bars on CAD, but I don't think that's enough to really define a trend by any means. Like if we look at this level right here, you could easily say, okay, well, there was resistance there. CAD's coming down, pound's going to go up, but that's obviously not what's going on. Right now, it looks like CAD's about to break this level and head back up to the upside. You can see yen is actually taking out some resistance here. I like the yen trade here on a pullback. I don't know if we'll get it, but if we do, I'd definitely love to take advantage of that. All right. And so going back to the actual pound trade, it just wasn't there. That shouldn't have happened. So where do we stand now? Well, I actually got short the pound. I realized, okay, this is not working. I just gotta stick to the higher time frames, and I think that's what's playing out right now. We are at support, and again, we do have this big rejection to the top side. 20 minutes left on the bar. It's really going to dictate how this thing plays out. If we manage to shoot back up in here and close high, then there's a good chance we'll continue higher. But the way things are looking now, looking at a good amount of dollar strength throughout. 15-minute close below the line. So I'm not too worried about this. Stop is nicely above the high, 25 pips. I have to be a little bit more lenient with the stop. Not so afraid to lose money because this is a game of risk. So with that being said, this is playing out. The other trade that I took before this, I actually went long the euro pound. So we've had quite a bit of a sell-off. This daily candle closed very nicely for the bulls. In fact, failure to make a lower low, and then kind of a doji in here. So potential upside. And essentially what I'm looking at, if I give it some of these other lines, I can point this out right here. So we have this swing point right here. As you can see, we came right down into it. Some shelf of support here as well. So kind of hanging out in that area. You can see the closes are above, the closes here, which is a good sign. We actually managed to break this trend line. Came right back down. The daily trend line is down here, but I am already long. I don't think we'll make it down there. I think we'll actually see a push up. So, looking at it, on a lower time frame, 4 hour, you can see this bar right here kind of convinced me that we would potentially see some further upside as, we had this steep sell-off, but bears could not continue to push it down, and so I kept going to a lower time frame. And you can see that, one of the things that also caught my eye was this trend line right here that I was watching. So we broke it. We came back and tagged it on the backside. Now, oftentimes these function as support once broken. That's pretty much what it did. Popped right back up. And so I went to even lower time frame looking for an entry now. And I'm looking at this swing point, projecting it across. And, I wanted to get in here. I wasn't able to, so I got in after this hammer bar. Looking for further upside there. Stop is below this low. And, if that pans out, that should be pretty nice. So we'll see. So I like this trade. I think I'm, on the right side in terms of larger time frame on that one. And I do like my pound trade, which is still setting up. We'll see how that works out. But I do think that if this euro does kick in, this 4-hour chart, which is pretty bearish at the moment, that'll definitely drag the pound down. And so we'll see. Now, one thing that's holding up pretty nice is the Aussie. The Aussie has support at this level right here and this trend line. If I can get a break of that and the support, then I do think we'll see at least a move down to this level. Right. So even that by itself is about 100 pips. The Aussie's been on a tear recently, so that's still might take some time to set up. So I like the Aussie next. I like the dollar yen, which is really taking off here. I don't have an opportunity to get in anytime soon, but we'll have to see how that works out. So that's pretty much it, and let's see if I can actually implement these new changes into my trading and see if it actually benefits me. But it's kind of refreshing to see that often when we think there's a problem, usually it's yourself. It's not the market. It's not that it's not tradable. It's just a matter of making a few adjustments, being more careful, and using those higher time frames when when the lower time frames are just not doing it. So we'll see how this goes, and all those trades will show up on the results, and you can follow those and criticize or whatever, and you know, but hopefully it becomes a learning lesson and become a better trader out of it. Thanks for watching. Mugtrading.tk.